you've obviously truly championed this project from the very start. Can you just talk a bit about your role as producer and why you wanted to adapt this book into a film?
Well, I'm a really big admirer of Klár Kighan as a writer, and myself and Tim wanted to work together again after working on Peaky Blinders, which is quite a while ago now. It's like 9 years or something.
Is it 9?
I think it's something like that. And we were looking for material, and it was actually my wife who suggested Claire's material, and then and miraculously the rights were still available, and we read it, and I had read it, and then Tim read it, and we felt there was something there, and then I gave it to Enda, and Enda agreed that there was something there, and loved the work, and then it just kind of happened really quickly. Mett Дэйmon read it, and he came on with Ben Afflek with their company, and they paid for it, and then it all sort of came together super fast.
Thank you. And Tim, how did you obviously you have your existing relationship with Killlian, but how did you kind of first get involved in the film, and what made you want to make this your next film?
Oh yeah, I think it's about grief, and I think grief is a theme that always comes back in my work in different shapes and forms. But it's like a theme. I get a kind of similar traumatic event in my past, and I think it's like what art is for me is like structuring pain, and that's a kind of pain that I keep trying to structure and to understand, and doing that with an actor as Killlian and with Enda's writing, because I'm a groupie guy of this. It's like I love what they were doing. The work they've done is amazing. So actually, it was a dream coming true. All came together for me.
Thank you. And Enda, you guys go back as well, right?
Yes.
So yeah, what was your kind of process like adapting Klár Kighan's novel and working with these guys?
I think it was just sort of like the book is just an absolutely perfect book, and really it was about honouring that for me, sort of being really super truthful to it, not sort of like adding anything, really just sort of immersing myself in the sort of the tone, the atmosphere of it, and try to give and sort of like this script that, you know, that was a provocation to the actors and the director in terms of, you know, well, as a gesture of, well, here it is. This is a 3D sort of version of what this book is. But it was a real honor, because it's properly, of course, this beloved, you know, like book and beautiful writing. So I loved being in it. It was a real shot in the arm, to be honest.
And a question for you all, really. Why do you think small things like these are such an important story to tell now? So maybe if we start with Killlian.
Yeah, so it feels like a small, quite simple story, but when you look at it, it's really sort of, it's really poking at big issues, I think, and big themes. And that to me is very interesting, that you can look at these big issues and big themes through the small lives of everyday citizens, you know, and it's not peculiar to Ireland, really. I think that sort of control and oppression and repression, you know, that's kind of universal. So I think it'll hopefully get people engaged in a way that they might have discussions and might have them look at other. Certainly, it'll ask questions of people. I think that's really the duty of good work, is to really ask questions of people.
And Tim, do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, I to be totally honest with you, I get some anxiety about autocracies starting to come up all over the world, and where you have to be silent, and yeah, it happened all over history, and I'm just slightly worried about the future as well.
And
yeah, I mean, particularly sort of in this issue, the government gave the church the responsibility and gave them sort of free rein, really, to do what they wanted to do to these young women who had these babies out of wedlock, and but there was a lot of complicity in the population, and a lot of silence, a lot of people policing one another. So I think sort of offering a film and offering a sort of a story about how human nature can sour in that way, it's important. It's important to sort of like to recognise how these things happen, and how sort of groupthink and a sort of a population can sort of act in that way, because it's within us all. There's sort of very sort of deep, sort of complex sort of things. To look at the worst side of human nature and trying to learn from it is always sort of like a good story to tell.
Definitely. And why do you think people should go and watch this film at cinemas, Tim?
Why?
Yeah, why in the cinema?
It's a really cinema. I think it's the kind of pacing and the rhythm and the tonality, and it gives room to make associations while you're watching. It's really a cinema movie. I wouldn't stream it.
Kilian, anything to say on that?
Yeah, I'd agree exactly with what Tim said. You know, I have a real romantic love for cinema, and like being in a dark room with lots of strangers, with like experiencing a story. You know, I think it's one of the most kind of democratic art forms there is, and I love it. And I think hopefully everyone that's read the book will want to go and see the film. Hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. Sure they will. It's brilliant. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.